Question for you. Do you feel like you're always trying a new diet but never seem to have any success? Yes, put me in that category. Either you can't lose weight or maybe you just can't keep it off. Diet culture earns the industry $60 billion a year, yet it often does very little to help us with our overall health. So we are engaging in an important conversation this morning. Why do we fail? But how can we have success? We've got registered dietitian, nutritionist Stephanie Espinoza here this morning to share some tips about finding a more healthy lifestyle. Good morning to you. And I feel like the beginning of the year is such a great time to have this conversation because so many of us try to reset, say we're going to do better. By now, 3 weeks in, many of us have already fallen off the wagon. So what is it about a diet? It's not. We probably need to look at long-term success versus a short-term fix.
Well, we're born into this country and we have a culture, but within our American culture is a diet culture. And that diet culture very strongly teaches us that we are at fault, that it's our fault. This moral failing that we're either good if we maintain our weight, or we're bad, or our food choices are good or bad. So we're constantly in this negative mindset of good and bad, and it's hard to have success when if you stumble, you have to feel so bad about yourself. And it gets everybody caught up in this angst of, why can't I do this for myself?
So, Stephanie, help us get out of this negative dialogue with ourselves. What is the first step that we should take? And I imagine a lot of it has to do with not comparing ourselves to others.
Absolutely. There's so much that we don't know about our bodies. And one of the things that I see when I work with people is we don't really know how to feed ourselves. We've been told how to feed ourselves. If you think about where that comes from, like way back to when we first started eating in our home as children, and then we come into adulthood not knowing that some of these patterns and beliefs about food and ourselves, and they impact how we approach how we feed ourselves as adults, and it's not working.
Beyond that, we all have different metabolisms, different body types, different health issues, and so the solution is not one size fits all. Just because I see something working on social media for one person, that doesn't necessarily mean it's okay for me, yeah?
Yes, absolutely. Patience isn't something that seems to come along with trying to change ourselves, and we need to have patience and change our lifestyle. Because you know what got us here is not going to get us where we need to go. We can't go on a diet, lose weight, and expect to jump back into our previous lifestyle and maintain that weight loss. It really creates that negative, again, that negative negative thoughts about ourselves.
And speaking of which, Stephanie, I feel like so many of us look at the quick fix and say, okay, you know what, I'm going to lose a weight and then I'm going to be better afterwards. Talk to me about why that really is fatalistic thinking.
Well, anytime you're restricting calories, those calories are going to come back and ask to be fed, if you will. And so I might be able to restrict myself for 6 weeks, but after that, I'm going to be very, very hungry and want to return back to those old habits. I don't know if you've tried to break habits, but they just keep knocking on our door. And if we don't know how to address those or have strategies to address those when they come back after that 6 weeks of weight loss, the weight will come back on. And I'm always so shocked how quickly that weight comes back on. I've had patients
and then some.
that gain and lose and gain and lose and gain and lose, and that's where we get really defeated. And we shouldn't be defeated because we have this beautiful, miraculous body that if we listen to it, it'll pay us back.
Sure. You know what, Stephanie, I feel like we're out of time. We could talk forever about this. I feel like the blog you wrote was really, really informative and thought-provoking. Where do we find that?
You can go to soalwellness.com.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
Very good. Stephanie Espinoza, always great to talk to you.
Great.